our first guest, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together and help me welcome, apparently, a gentleman by the name of Scott Smith. Scott, please, come on up.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good.
I've heard absolutely nothing about you, but I'm sure.
Why are you here?
I've asked.
Wait, the other guy had a cruise?
The other guy had a cruise. Yeah, I volunteered to take the cruise, but he apparently thought that was not.
Why would they call you?
I have no idea.
Okay.
So tell me, you're new to town? What?
Excuse me?
Mesa, Arizona. Ever heard of it?
You know, it's great to get over here out in the burbs. It's nice to get here sometimes.
Thank you.
You know.
Wow. So you're kind of a Phoenix guy, is what you're saying?
You know, I'm an Arizona kind of guy.
Okay.
You know, kind of thing. And you?
I've been, off and on. Yeah. I've
okay.
been in Mesa a little bit.
That's good. Good.
No, we're obviously, this is a failed attempt at humor, ladies and gentlemen.
See, that's what made it funny, is that it failed. It bombed so badly. Had it succeeded, we wouldn't have gotten half the laughs.
We would have killed.
But they would have been laughing with us instead of at us.
If this was I blame the crowd. If they were just a little bit hipper, they would have really gotten along out of it.
We're just way ahead of them.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, former Mayor Scott Smith. Every time I'm with Scott, it seems like I'm trying to suck up because I do have a lot of admiration for Scott.
You need to do a better job, by the way.
Well,
I need all the
You're right. I don't try that hard. But Scott was a great mayor, and a lot of really great things happened in Mesa, Arizona under Scott's leadership. And particularly at this time, I think it's fun to note that we just concluded a very successful spring training season with the Chicago Cubs in Mesa, Arizona. Had it not been for this gentleman right here, the Chicago Cubs would have been training in Florida this past March. So, Scott, thank you for your great leadership on a lot of areas.
Thank you.
But in particular, Scott's fingerprints are all over the Sloan Stadium and the ongoing great privilege it is for us to play host to the Chicago Cubs. Scott, now, and I also ought to note, I'm not sure how comfortable you are with the whole Cinco de Mayo going on here.
I know that you and I know what it's like to have a crown.
That's true.
But this Corona thing, it is a little out of character for both you and I.
Well, apparently Corona is great, but I know root beer.
I heard it's an acquired taste.
Yeah, having not spent a lot of time in Mexico, I don't know. But just to make you a little more comfortable, we did look in the back of, and I appreciate Neil, who may or may not be up a little later, but just so that in case,
we're having our beer.
Enjoy the moment. Corona. Now,
Henry Weinhardt's.
There we go. This is good stuff, apparently.
Very good stuff.
Well, wow. It's always good when there's foam coming out of the host's nose.
You know what? It's interesting that I knew how to handle the foam in a beer bottle. You didn't.
Yeah, I was taken back by that. I apologize for. But that is good. My sinuses are clear.
I was going to say, it's good regardless of which orifice it goes down.
We better move on.
It didn't sound very good, did it?
No. So back to Valley Metro.
Yes. Speaking of orifices.
Scott, explain to us, how do you go from being the mayor of Mesa, which is a good gig, ladies and gentlemen, to being Valley Metro CEO?
Well, after becoming mayor, I was lonely, John. Very lonely.
I know how that
I
feels.
know.
After this show, I think I'm going to be a lot more lonely too.
No, it was great. The board, the leadership of Valley Metro, which is made up of city council members, including our own Vice Mayor Dennis Kavanaugh, and now Vice Mayor Chris Glover, reached out to me after Valley Metro had gone through some troubling times and asked if I would come in and serve as interim CEO, with the idea that hopefully we could get this great organization some stability. And I started that in February of 2016 with the idea I would only be there a year, and had already had plans. And about November of last year, they asked me if I'd consider staying on, and so much good is going on. Valley Metro is, as I said, a great organization, has a huge impact on this valley, has had a huge impact and will continue to have an impact on Mesa, that I agreed to stay on a couple years, and I'm very, very happy for that and excited about the work that we do at Valley Metro.
Well, and you're the perfect man for this job, so we couldn't be more excited that you're, again, playing a very critical role in our community. So obviously, the Valley Metro continues to play a big role in terms of light rail in downtown Mesa. Now, during your service as mayor, I know that you worked very hard to continue the extension of light rail from where it ends now at Mesa Drive out to Gilbert Road. And you and Chris Brady did a lot to reprioritize things to make that possible. Tell us again, why is it important? Why is it so significant to get out to Gilbert Road?
Well, Valley Metro, or the light rail has gone to Mesa Drive about a year and a half now, a little over a year and a half, and it's been incredibly successful. But Mesa Drive is not what we would say a typical end of line. Gilbert Road historically has been, if not the physical, certainly the emotional dividing line between East Mesa and West Mesa. Gilbert Road is almost a parkway. It's 6 lanes. The city widened it many, many years ago. Carries a lot of north-south traffic. It's really more of a traditional type of an end of line for a high-capacity transit corridor. So even before we began construction on the light rail construction through downtown, we started looking at ways that we could extend it at least to Gilbert Road, with the idea that those who live east of Gilbert Road will have an easy drive into there, and then they can jump on it and go into Tempe, downtown Mesa, Tempe, downtown Phoenix to the games and everything. And that's why it was so important to get to Gilbert Road. Also, if light rail does extend in the future, and maybe not in my lifetime, but at some time it's going to go east, it's hopefully will make its way all the way out to Gateway Airport and ASU Poly. Gilbert Road is the place it has to get to. It's the first stage. And that's why we thought it was so important to get to Gilbert Road.
So give us some timing. Active construction right now.
If you go down there right now, Main Street is a construction zone.
Right. And when are we going to make it to Gilbert Road?
Well, it will open up for service in the spring of 2019, so about 2 years from now. And it's going to be anytime you have that kind of construction, it's going to be a challenge. Mm-hmm. Challenge for the businesses there, challenge for everything. But as we've seen on Main Street in downtown, once it's done, it certainly makes an impact, and it's worth the wait.
I was on our city council 20 years ago when this idea first came up, and I remember being very skeptical that in this kind of western sprawl environment that a fixed route transit system was going to be successful. I'm delighted to say that I was 100% wrong. This has proven to be extremely successful. Why is it? Why do you think it is that light rail has proven to be so successful?
First of all, the world's changing. We look for options, and we're growing as a metro area. Millennials, others have experienced rail in other cities. They've seen the success. They're making choices now on how to travel. And light rail across the valley has just blown away all expectations. Every day, today, we will carry the equivalent of a sold-out Sun Devil Stadium. 60,000 people ride light rail. We will have almost 16.5 million riders this next year. And historically and from the beginning, Mesa has been the busiest spot. The Sycamore Station was the busiest station. Now as we go forward, we're one of the busiest areas. So people in not only Mesa, but the surrounding communities have gravitated toward light rail. And I say that they've not only accepted light rail, but they've embraced light rail. And we're expecting even bigger things once we get to Gilbert Road. So it's been a success. Last weekend, Final Four was here. We had a lot of events in downtown Phoenix. And in a 2.5-day period, Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, we carried over 220,000 people on light rail.
Wow!
And I mean, it was really exciting to see how that has changed our city and our valley to have that many events. We had the Final Four, the D-backs opening day game for almost 50,000 people, and not a whole lot of parking and a lot of congestion. So many people chose to take rapid transit, light rail transit. Into downtown, and it was a great success.
My son and I love to use it when we go to ASU football games, for example. It's a great way to avoid sitting in a parking lot for an hour with a lot, 100,000 of your favorite friends. But it's been fun. I remember when I was on the city council again 20 years ago, there was one day I looked out the window at Main Street, and this was when downtown Mesa was in its deepest, darkest funk. And a dog with a lame leg walked across Main Street with absolutely no threat of being hit by a car. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, we've got some serious challenges here. Go to downtown Mesa now with the addition of the Performing Arts Center and now the light rail. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a dramatic change. So,
yeah, it is, and that's true all along the route. A little bit of information. We now have 26 miles of light rail, about a little over 20 in the original, and then the 3-mile extension in Mesa, and there's been another 3-mile extension in North Phoenix. Along those 26 miles, Valley Metro has tracked every real estate transaction in the corridor, which is a half a mile on either side. And in the 8 years that light rail's been open, yeah, it's amazing to think it's a little over 8 years, almost $9 billion of real estate activity. That's transactions, investment. Almost $7 billion of that is private, about $2 billion public, $7 billion private. So, not all that's caused by light rail, but if you look at the route of light rail, I would really say that in the 20, 30 years before that, if there was $1 billion of investment, I'd be surprised. So light rail has been a game changer in this valley and will continue to be so, and especially in Mesa. It doesn't happen overnight. It's still going to take some time. Downtown Mesa I know you're working very hard to have it reach its full potential. It's not there yet, but there's no doubt that the opportunities we have are driven in a large degree because of light rail.
Well, Scott, thank you on behalf of, I'll put on my mayor hat for just a minute, on behalf of the 500,000 people who owe so much to you for all that was done during your 6 years as mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you're doing now in this also critically important position at Valley Metro.
Thank you, and I got to give one biggest sales pitch. This is Shop on Main. Our businesses between Mesa Drive and Gilbert need your assistance. It's tough when there's construction barricades up. They're going to be there for a year or two until traffic restores. Actually, about a year and a half. They need your help. We found that in the 3-mile extension, that actually some businesses, because of your support, had their business go up during construction. They'd say, "Hey, can you please come bring the construction people back?" But you have to support them. I know a lot of times we actually try to avoid construction areas. Don't avoid Main Street. Support our businesses on Main Street during the construction. Let them know that you appreciate them, and you also, especially small businesses, understand how tough it is. And we want to do everything we can to help them not only survive but thrive.
Great, thank you. Thanks for that shout out, and thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Good to be here. Feel free to take that with you.